G'day folks, I'm Wayne and welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're headed for the Cape. If your plan is to fish at the Cape one way or another, you're going to have to negotiate Ngkala rocks. There's three ways you can get past Ngkala rocks, and today on this vid you'll see all three.
Your name, Jim?
Yeah, I'm here.
Apparently there's somebody stuck further up the track. Can you see him?
Well, as we arrive here at Ngkala, we pull up just on the southern side obviously and had a chat to some of the guys who've been sitting there a little while to find out how much traffic's been coming through and whether anyone struggled with the soft sand the other side of this rock groove. And the news wasn't good. We'd been told that the sand was very soft this particular day because of the strong easterlies we'd had over the last couple of days, so that we were going to struggle going over the top. But that said, we're still going to give it a red hot shot. I'm just approaching the cutting in the coffee rock. This looks scary and it's quite narrow, but I'm pretty sure every vehicle will get through that. My vehicle certainly had no trouble at all. A little bit of water in it today. It has been a lot deeper than this, and it does dry out a lot more than what's there. I've never actually seen it dry before though. Once we get through that, we really stand on the pedal here, so low range, 16 pound in the tyres, and try to get to third gear and keep that foot down. I had no trouble making it through the soft sand today, but the others in the group did, so we had to go back for recovery. And here we see the rest of my group coming through here. Dave's just come through, no trouble at all. He gets bogged in the soft sand. I have to come back and recover him. That's a little bit later in the video. This is Neil. Not overly experienced when it comes to full driving, and he had an absolute ball. It was an absolute pleasure to take Neil away with me. Neil brought John, and the two of them had a great time. So we got them to pull off while we waited to come back and got Dave out of the bog. That's a nice little waiting area there. And the last three here with us today is Jenny and Glenn in their Parado. Take it nice and easy through here. And if you're going to do the soft sand, you give it to it all there and cross your fingers. It's about now that Jenny jumps on the radio and lets me know that Dave's having a lot of trouble and asked me to come back, give him a hand. While he's waiting, Dave gets busy with the shovel and takes a bit of sand out of all four wheels. He also lets his tyres down a little bit further. They were at 18, I think, and he let them down to 15. See him digging on all four tyres. It's him letting the air out, just letting them down just a little bit further to try and help him out. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get back up the wall that's on the beach side, because it's just too hard to come back over the same track and go around him, so I had to go around and up the wall. Dave gives it a go here. But it soon becomes obvious that he's definitely going to need 6 or 7 people at the front of his car pushing, or a car behind it pulling it back. So that's me just coming into the frame now. Pull up behind him at about half the distance of a snatch strap. I grab the straps out of the back, and they already have shackles on them. It's just a matter of hooking them up and dragging him back. The big orange mat there you saw me throw on the ground, that's my everything mat. I had that made. I've got a couple of them now, and They're just brilliant. I use them as a launch and landing pad for my drone. Use them as a blanket for recovery. Mezzanine level, it's hanging up in the back of my canopy. Anytime I need to lay down on the ground and get under a car, it's just fantastic. It's an absolutely useful blanket, that one. And cheap as chips too. If you're interested, let me know in the comments and I'll give you a heads up. Nice easy recovery. And we both reverse out back into the harder ground to go around that soft patch, like just about everybody else this morning. Now that we're all out and back on hard terra firma, it's time to get the other half of this Ngkala rocks done. We've got two options from here. As you can see from the drone, we've got the cliff face, which is quite a scary option, but it's the safer of the two for the car, that's for sure. Especially with the tide, the height that it is. It's quite an easy access to the actual cliff drop. The other option is the surf. We go down the beach and time the waves, but the tide is right up at the moment, and that would be a salty option. You can see the cliff there from above. Just get a little bit closer here to give you a look from the side of it. It doesn't do it justice just how steep that cliff is. You feel like you're going to fall straight down when you start going over it. We've got Derek down the bottom. He's giving instructions in relation to right hand or left hand down, because you can't see anything at all as a driver. You're completely dependent on the navigator down the bottom. As you can see, got through there very unscathed. This is the third option, and you can see somebody who just didn't want to do the cliff or the soft sand, and he's managed to get a half a ton of salt in his vehicle. Just get the rest of the crew down over this cliff, and we're off to the Cape. This is Dave coming down. You can't go slowly enough here. You've really got to have your wheels in the right spot. That's why you need the navigator, and just creep your way over and it all goes pretty smooth. Going up, believe it or not, is a lot easier than coming down because you can see what you're doing. You don't need a navigator. Coming down, you can't see anything. There's Neil coming over. Nice and slowly. And we're pretty much all done. Just before we leave you, to show you some of the footage of us on our way back. Both Dave and I elected to go back up the wall. The tide was so low that it was quite an easy drive on the beach around these rocks, but we thought we'd have a bit of fun. So that's me up and there's Dave up. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you got something out of it, hit that like button for me. If you haven't, subscribe. It really does help the channel. I've included a few minutes of drone footage of Ngkala rocks if you want to stick around and just have a bit of a look at the rocks and the soft sand and the cliff face from the air. But again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next vid.